All right. Hey there, everybody. And for today's stream, we're going to be redrafting 2015. So there have been some great stars that have emerged from this draft class. It's not just Connor McDavid and Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel. Plenty of great players in one of the more stacked draft classes as of recent times. So anyway, it's great to have you here. What we're going to do is we're going to basically just redraft at least the first round. We might even do the second round. And then that way we can see where some of the best talent will end up because you have guys like Kirill Kaprizov being drafted 135th overall. So hope you're able to stick around here. If you're new here, you like talking about draft classes and star players and all things NHL for the most part, well, this is a great place to be. And we're going to be providing you some more content throughout the off season. So I'm Nick, and I'm joined here by my dog Cortana. I don't know exactly how helpful she'll be in making the picks, but of course, she does provide the cuteness factor. And yeah, we'll get started in just a little bit. I just want to make sure that we have some people hanging out with us. So say hello. We are a friendly bunch here. We are fans of all teams, and it's great to have you here, no matter who you cheer for. And hopefully, you're getting through the offseason okay. It's been very, very quiet the past couple of weeks. So I'm waiting for October, honestly. That, and I'm really just not really a summer person myself. Good morning, Riley. Hello. Thanks for hopping in here. And I hope you're excited for this because, again, we're talking about players who were drafted in a third round or later who could be, top 15 picks in this draft. Who else we got here? And if you want to follow along, of course, I have my screen pulled up here. The left side of the screen will be the actual draft board. On the right side, I show you the top performers so far from the draft class. But of course, there are players out there like, let's just say Zach Werenski. He's 12th in scoring, but he's a defenseman, so he provides probably more value than a few of the players above him. So do see the pinned comment or the pinned chat message here if you haven't already. And that way you can take a look at the draft class. And Max, how are we doing? So yeah, see the pinned chat message, and then that way you can kind of follow along on your screen if you want. I'll give you as much information here as I can so that you in a way that you can probably see. And also, there are a few goaltenders who are drafted here. Nobody who's like an absolute stud, but do keep in mind we have goalies in addition to, of course, forwards and defensemen. But yeah, I do want to wait a few minutes until more people join this stream. So if you can just hang tight, guys, for a few minutes, then that way, of course, we have a better representation of our community of fans. And also, I mean, we're talking about some big decisions here, right? We're talking about the possibility of drafting players like McDavid and Eichel first overall. So I want to make sure we have a decent amount of viewers here before we get into that. Anyway, Max, how's your off season going? Which team do you cheer for? Maybe we can dive into how their off season has gone so far. As for the Knights, Riley, I got to say they're doing a good job with managing the cap in the off season. Of course, they had to lose a couple of players just to stay cap compliant, but they've got just about everybody they need there, and the extensions that they dished out to guys like Aiden Hill and also to Ivan Barbashev. I thought those were pretty good extensions. I think that they have certainly earned that. Cortana is going to be waiting for the first treat for a while. And for anybody here, if you want to contribute to the Cortana Treat Fund, we've got a bunch of treats here. Just toss a couple bucks in the super chat, and I'll be sure to dish out a treat to her. Justin, what's going on? Hi from Windsor, Ontario. Okay, so does that make you a Red Wings fan or a Maple Leafs fan or a fan of some other team? Blue Jackets, and you have Adam Fracking Fantilli. Yeah, I'm. Wait a second. Now, is he committed to? Is he going to play next year at Michigan? I'm pretty sure he is, right? Or is he going to crack the lineup? I haven't checked in on that in a little bit. From St. Paul, Minnesota. All right, the heart of Minnesota Wild territory. Right on. He played like Andrei Vasilevsky. I mean, the numbers would indicate that he had a very similar postseason, wouldn't it? But yeah, the Jackets, of course, lots of young talent out there. And yeah, I mean, Line apparently is open to to playing center or staying at center. I found that really interesting. I didn't even know he had done that last year, just because they'd been kind of, out of the playoff conversation pretty early. You're saying he's going to play? All right. Well, hey, I'll have to watch the Blue Jackets more this year. Some people think they could actually challenge for a playoff spot. I don't know if I'm ready to say that specifically. If the goaltending takes a big step forward, then who knows? Maybe they could actually challenge for something like that. Big Red Wings fan in Windsor, and there's a good mix of fans in that spot there. Right on. Laine played center when the Jackets lost 7-2 to the Knights. Okay. Well, yeah, the Jackets have been kind of starved for star center talent, but Fantilli, I mean, like, I'm not expecting him to be a dominant first line center in his first year, but we'll see. And speaking of which, of course, we're just a couple months away from the NHL debut of Connor Bedard. King of the Surf, how we doing? Hope you guys are staying cool, by the way. It's not going to be scorching hot today, but it'll be pretty warm here where I am, and thank God for air conditioning. That's all I got to say. We should probably get started in about 5 minutes. I think we'll have enough people to kind of get started. I don't want to keep you here forever. Unless you want to be. Yeah. I mean, really, just about everybody big from free agency has been signed, right? You like the Blue Jackets logo? I mean, I like the nod to the state of Ohio, but it's kind of hard to, not want the cannon to be on the front. Some people don't, though. Man. All right. Well, I said I wanted more people to show up, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it up to us to start drafting. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to what has been the worst draft class in recent memory. I mean, 2012 really sticks out, right? That was the Nile Yakupov draft. I think that's got to be right up there. Let me know if another one comes to mind for you though. 06 wasn't the best either. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting up a poll here. And so just please vote in this. I know that we only have a few people here, but we'll see if some other people trickle in. So with the Oilers, they have the first overall pick this year. So should they draft Connor McDavid or should they draft somebody else? So just vote in that, and that will help us kind of get the ball rolling with this. So yeah, just check out the poll here in the chat. And really, I mean, this only should take a minute to determine. The GOAT, Connor Garland. I don't know why, like, Connor Garland's contract isn't the worst out there. I'm surprised that nobody's really made a serious bid in a little while. If the Canucks even want to trade him, I was like, why would they want to trade him if they want to be competitive? I don't know. I like him. All right, cool. So I see that we have like 9 viewers right now, and so 7 of them are saying, okay, draft McDavid. That sounds good to me. All right, let's draft McDavid first overall. We'll do that right now. So we are going to take Connor McDavid off the board, off the floor, and on the board, Connor McDavid. So that will eliminate him from the draft board. Okay. Most notable thing of Yakupov's NHL career was the celebration. And I don't even remember that, honestly. All right, guys. So in the chat, who should the Sabres draft second overall? So go ahead and just give me a name in the chat. I think that's probably the best way to do it versus a poll, at least while our numbers are on the thinner side of things. So who would you like to draft? Who would you like to draft second overall? Just let me know in the chat. And I mean, you all seem like a good bunch here. So, but yeah, just enter the player's name once. All right, votes so far for Eichel and for Marner. Yeah, if everybody can chime in here too, that will definitely help. Austin Matthews is not part of this draft class, FYI. He was next year, Riley. Okay, Eichel, Marner, Eichel, Kaprizov. Yeah, Kaprizov is up there. All right. Does anybody else have an opinion on this? I'll just give you a few more seconds in case somebody else wants to chime in. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, he was 2016. All right. Any other opinions on this? You're going to say Kaprizov? Okay. All right. So Strom is going to fall off hard. He had a good year last year. Orange Boy says Kaprizov. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is to keep things moving along. I'm going to actually run a poll now to determine between the two of them. Okay. So I'm going to say, who should the Sabres draft? Hey, Mike. All right. So we're going to say Eichel, and your other option here is Kaprizov. So here's the poll. Just cast your vote when you have a second here. I draft with McDavid and Matthews. Wait, who drafted second in 2016? Just out of curiosity. Oh, it was Line. That's right. Yeah. To the Jets. All right. Yeah, if everybody can cast a vote, that will definitely help. Yeah. It seems like so long ago that Patrick Line was a Jet, doesn't it? All right. I think we've got just about everybody's vote. So I'll give you 15 seconds if you've yet to cast a vote. Yeah. The jacket. Yeah. Jackets and Line. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Neither player's on his drafting team. All right. Let's close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So Kirill Kaprizov is actually going off the board. He's being drafted second overall to the Buffalo Sabres. Interesting. All right, cool. Okay. So then, should I assume that we should draft Eichel third overall? But let me all right, in the chat. All right. So let me know in the chat, guys. Should the Arizona Coyotes draft Eichel next? I would think that that's the logical pick just because of your responses so far, but let me know. Jamie Benn doesn't wear a visor. Yeah, I mean, he was grandfathered into that program. Jack is traded for Provorov. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, they could. The two of them wouldn't play together, though, would they? Werenski and Provorov. A couple people say Marner. Got to go Marner. Okay, I'm gonna put here. Thank you. That's helpful. I'll put up a poll. Okay. Coyotes, Eichel or Marner? Mike dropping the 5. Thank you, buddy. Well, I mean, I got to read the message, right? But yeah, you're selling the product yourself. But Mike says everyone should become a member. I agree. It's worth it. You get extra content and a whole big Instagram group chat. We want you there. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Here, I'll give Cortana a couple treats on your behalf. And actually, Cortana, she already picked up one. I was going to say that we are actually ranking all 63 reverse retro jerseys on our member streams. So we just did the first batch of 32 jerseys. We're going to do 31 jerseys next Thursday. So I invite you to become a member for as little as $3 a month. You get content like that. All right, here we go, boo boo. Come over here. All right. Good girl, Cortana. Good girl. All right. Okay. So we have 7 of the votes. All right. Everybody cast a vote. I should almost announce this like a horse race or something. It's Monrad in front over Eichel by 14%. The jersey should have been Go tier. Oh, the Penguins 2.0 or the 1.0? Because I think we did both, right? Oh shoot, the votes are split 50% each. If you haven't voted yet, yeah, there you go. Chime in. The 2.0. 2.0 is awesome. It's pretty rocking. I think I voted it as like A tier. All right, 15 or actually we got 12 votes. That should be just about everybody. I'll give you 10 seconds if you haven't done it just yet. The 1.0 is just mid. Yeah, that's about right. All right, let's close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So Eichel is going to go 3rd overall to the Arizona Coyotes. There he is, Eichel. All right, we'll add him in here. Awesome. Eichel, you are an Arizona Coyote. Okay. So does this mean the Maple Leafs get Mitch Marner at 4th overall? I would think that that's the case. Reply in the chat. Should the Maple Leafs draft Marner or should they draft somebody else? What jerseys do I think they're going to do for this season? I think we would have already known. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I don't think the NHL is going to do anything crazy for the next couple of years, though, because this is the last year of Adidas as the jersey manufacturer, and Fanatics isn't going to do anything for like the next 2 years when they take over. Orange Boy says Aho. Max says Rantanen. No doubt. Marner deserves better. All right. Okay, I think that we're probably. Oh, well, Big Boy chiming in with Rantanen as well. Oh boy, I think we might need to actually do a poll here, do a runoff. All right, let's do a runoff here. Let's say Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner and Mikko Rantanen. We'll do a runoff between those two. The Fanatics shirts aren't too bad. The jersey shirts. I don't know if I've ever had one of those. So I've had a Fanatics shirt before, though. I don't remember particularly thinking anything high of it, but then again, it wasn't like super expensive. So you got to get what you pay for, but I would rather just go on 47 brand and order a shirt there. Rantanen over Marner is crazy. I mean, those are both probably future Hall of Famers. Marner had an awesome year. His defense was excellent, I think. His penalty killing and that sort of thing. But yeah, imagine that. Imagine a line of Matthews with Rantanen. Still pretty scary, huh? That power play would probably have set a record at some point, I would think. All right, cast a vote if you haven't already. I'll give you about 15 seconds here. Okay. Puckdoku. Yeah, I haven't even gotten into that, but I like what you're doing. Yeah, the Puckdoku or the Wardle or whatever it is. There's like a hockey one. Interesting call. All right. All right, let's close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, going fourth overall is Mikko Rantanen. I am a bit surprised, but that's why we do this. And it makes it a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? So, there we go. All right. Okay, so, members stream every Thursday now. I can't say that that's exactly what's gonna happen, but I just figure that's an easy day for me to work with. All right, 5th overall. Who should the Hurricanes draft at 5th overall? Let me know, in the chat here. So Marner is still up for grabs, and right there underneath him in the scoring among players from the draft class, second is Aho. So there you go. And I mentioned this at the very beginning, but you can also certainly consider defensemen. They're not going to be as high on this list, obviously, because they don't score points as frequently. But if you see my pinned message here in the chat, that will take you to a page that shows you all the players from that draft class. Marner, Aho, Marner. All right. All right. Unless anybody says otherwise, I know that Riley said Aho here. And I love Sebastian Aho, but just given kind of process of elimination, I think it's probably fair that the next player selected is Mitch Marner. The Mitch Marner is going to go to the Mitch Marner is a Carolina Hurricane, and he is now off the board. Okay, the Devils select next. Their pick was Pavel Zacha. So, who should the Devils pick at 6th? A series for each team, top 5 draft picks of all time. I like that quite a bit, but I did a video on the best draft steal for every team since 2010, and that just didn't get the views. I got to make those kinds of decisions now. So as much as I like it, the analytics tell me that the channel doesn't want that. Rantanen, could it be a members video? Maybe. All right. I probably need some more responses from you guys. Who should be selected at 6th overall? Because so far I see Aho, which I think that would make sense. But does anybody else have a strong vote on this? Does the algorithm help with the member streams? I don't think that member streams play any role in the algorithm. I mean, that's a good question because I couldn't find that answer anywhere. All right, or Werenski. Okay, I'm gonna do a poll here for this then. All right, so we'll do Aho or Werenski for the Devils. So Sebastian Aho or Zach Werenski. All right, cast your vote, and I'll be right back. I just got to use the restroom. Okay. Actually, in the meantime, you guys can see the trailer for my newest sudden death video. So if you're a fan of basketball or any other sport besides hockey, or in addition to hockey, just see the video description down below. My channel, Sudden Death Sports. And yeah, I'll be right back. I'm sure a lot of you grew up watching the promising but stunted career of Gilbert Arenas. At just 25 years old, he was on his way to a Hall of Fame career. I want to tell you a different story though, as the evolution of Arenas' career is much more complex. Considering his upbringing, his NBA peers, and his team's front offices, he had to be the difference maker if he wanted to succeed. But at the same time, with what we know from the gun incident, his innumerable pranks, and other antics, he often fostered an environment that wouldn't take him as far as he wanted. So let me know, if healthy, would Arenas have ranked up there with D-Wade, Steve Nash, and T-Mac? Could he have guided the Wizards to a championship? I'll let you decide by the end of this video, inspired by our top comment on the most cursed sports teams today. So thanks, Mario Caster Jim. This is Gilbert Arenas, the Hall of Famer that never was. Okay, we're coming back. All right, here we are. So then, what do we have? Sebastian Aho? Okay, that seems good to me. Let's draft Sebastian Aho to the New Jersey Devils. All right. Holy moly. Imagine that center depth of the Devils, right? Because they got Sebastian who? Sebastian Aho. There we go. Now, imagine that if the Devils had Sebastian Aho with Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier, because Bratt was their pick the next year, right? So imagine that. That would just break your TV. All right. Anyway, let's go to our next team, and that is the Philadelphia Flyers. So let me know in the chat, who do you think should be drafted at that position? Apparently, my buddy Eric was texting me. He said that in 2024, the son of Miroslav Shatan will actually be available, and he's 6'6", big dude. I guess in this time, your favorite Eastern team is the Devils. Yeah, I think everybody would want to root for the Devils if Aho was a part of that roster. King of the Surf says Timo Meyer. Let me know in the chat, everybody. Who do you think should be drafted next? Caleb says Matthew Barzell. But yeah, I'll need some responses from you guys if we want to keep this moving. Travis Konechny, okay. Yeah, it's crazy. Two Sebastian Ahos, like you figure that it would be, John Smith, that, there might be a couple of them in the NHL, but there you are. All right, let's all right, if that's all the responses we have, then I'll just put up a poll right now. So who should the Flyers draft? So your options are going to be, we'll do Timo Meyer. We'll do, hey, what's up, Louie? Rope Hintz. Okay. Rope Hintz, I think, should be part of this, actually. Kaprizov in second is wild. You gotta let the people make the decisions here. Or Dylan Strome. All right, so we have a lot of players. Okay, so I'm going to put in a few options. Now, we were talking about Werenski possibly earlier on, so I'm going to make him one of the options. And let's see here. So we got, or Matthew Barzell. All right, those are going to be your fourth options for the Flyers, just kind of based on what I see here. Don't worry, we'll get to Dylan Strome and Travis Konechny soon enough. All right. But yeah, everybody cast a vote here, because that will definitely help represent everybody's opinions if we can get as many votes as possible. Okay. But yeah, don't forget, we got lots of defensemen like Werenski. We've got Vince Dunn on the Kraken. We've got Rasmus Anderson for the Flames. We've got Brandon Carlo. John Marino's there. Gavrikov. So you have a lot of good defensemen who aren't necessarily, even Eric Chernak. So you have a lot of defensemen who get drafted or who are further down my list here, because obviously defensemen don't score as many points. So just some food for thought for you. All right, we got 12 votes. Cool. Keep them coming, everybody. Keep them coming. Boy, it's pretty close. Okay. I'll give you about 15 more seconds and then we'll name a pick and move on. The Vince Dunn extension. Justin, he got himself a good contract. I was surprised that he got that much. Not that he's not worth that over like a long-term deal potentially, but just kind of based on what I've seen from like other extensions in that neighborhood, I thought it was a little surprising. But then again, the Kraken have the cap space. So I'm good with it. You know, the guy's been quarterbacking the power play and that sort of thing. So it seems right to me. I mean, you're going to get those next 2 years will be two of his best 4 or 5 years, you would think. So overall, it's pretty good. Darkness, what's going on? All right, let's close out the poll. And so drafting seventh overall, the Flyers will select Matthew Barzell. All right. Next up are the Columbus Blue Jackets. So in the chat, give me a name for who you want the black. Who do you want the Blue Jackets to draft? Just let me know in the chat. But give me a name for the Blue Jackets. He got overpaid if last year was a fluke. Last year was so interesting because you had all these players who are, you know, I don't want to say that they're all third liners, but you had like a very middle six based forward group where everybody was contributing, like Daniel Sprung scoring 27 goals. So it was kind of surprising that that a lot of players not necessarily set career highs, but got pretty close to that. But anyway, I hope that they continue trending upwards. Obviously, Kyle Connor, Rope Hintz. Does anybody else have any opinions on this? Hey, what's up, Bill? Thanks for popping in here. How about that? Mika Rantanen is a Maple Leaf. All right, so we're gonna put in Rope Hintz as a possibility. Zach Werenski. We'll do Kyle Connor. Okay, cool. I'll stick with just that. Kyle Connor would probably be around here. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give you 3 options. So vote in the poll. You got Rope Hintz, Kyle Connor, and Zach Werenski, who was the Blue Jackets pick. God, that was already 8 years ago. Wow. Hi, Cortana. How we doing? Good girl. Oh, whoops. There we go. All right. Keep the votes coming, everybody. I'll give you about 20 seconds to cast your vote if you haven't already. It doesn't feel like it's been already 8 years ago. Yeah, I hear you. All right, we're going to close out this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Well, there's no, or we have a tie here between Hintz and Werenski. I'm going to be the tiebreaker in this case, and we're going with Rope Hintz. I'll pick Rope Hintz for this next one. Rope Hintz is off the board. All right. Now we've got the San Jose Sharks. So let me know your thoughts in the chat. Who do you think that the Sharks should draft at 9th? Draft me. Oh god, in 2015, they would be drafting at that time a 27-year-old, I guess. A very speedy 27-year-old, probably. Timo, Shabbat, Connor, Werenski. Okay, those are going to be our four. Those are going to be our four picks. Okay, so here's our poll. All right, Sharks draft. Let's say Timo Meyer, Thomas Shabbat. Uh, Zach Werenski and Kyle Connor. All right. All right, those are your choices for the San Jose Sharks. I'm going to pop in the headphones too. All right, keep the votes coming, everybody. I'll give you about 20 seconds if you haven't cast a vote yet. All right, let's close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dan, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're safe on the road there, man. All right, so we're sticking with Timo Meyer for the Sharks. Timo Meyer, you are off the board. All right. Now we got the Colorado Avalanche. So, who should the Avs? All right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments or in the chat here. Who should the Colorado Avalanche draft at 10th? This is where Matthew Barzal should go. Okay, we'll Timo Meyer was just picked, so he won't be available. Kyle Connor. Oh yeah, but yeah, Barzal was already selected at 7th. So I didn't update the GHT. Konechny. Oh, I didn't. Okay, thank you. I'll take Barzal off the board. My bad. All right. Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's see here. So your options are going to be Connor, Shabbat. Let's see. Let's do Connor, Shabbat, Werenski, because we're still looking at him, and Konechny. All right. All right. Shabbat, Connor, Werenski, and who was the other guy? Konechny. Konechny. Okay, there we go. Red Flow says Hannafin. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we don't have to do this based on who has the most points, right? Of course, the Avs originally picked Mikko Rantanen 2 years after selecting Nathan MacKinnon at first overall. Boston will be stacked. Yeah, if we do the second round, they have 3 picks then too, which is bonkers. Yeah, it was like 1 out of maybe 2 years when the Bruins didn't make the playoffs for like in a 12-year span or something like that, I want to say. All right, we got 13 votes, and I think it's pretty convincing at this point. We'll keep the train moving. So it's going to be Kyle Connor as a Colorado Avalanche. Good pick. All right, Kyle Connor, originally drafted 17th. All right, So next up, we get to the Florida Panthers. So let me know in the chat, who do you think that the Panthers should draft? Any thoughts here with the Panthers? Their original pick was Lawson Krause, who, of course, plays for the Arizona Coyotes. You might be biased, but Brock Besser, Konechny, Troy Terry. Oh, good pick, Darkness. Or that's creative. All right, Konechny, Shabbat, Werenski. Yeah, okay. I think we'll go with Konechny, Shabbat, Werenski, and I'll throw in Besser. Sure. All right. Besser, Konechny, and the other one is Ofek was saying. Yeah, I got all. Oh, Shabbat. There we go. Okay. All right. Here's the poll for the Panthers. Let's see here. Let's go a little bit further down the draft board so you can see who else is available, especially for defensemen. So like Brandon Carlo, John Marino, Vladislav Gavrikov, Matt Roy, Eric Chernak. If we're talking about some defensemen like Jonas Siegenthaler's down there. Connor Garland's still on the board too. So is Eriksson Ek. All right. Oh, it's Trevor. What's going on? Oh no, I didn't. I didn't watch the World Cup. All right, let's close out this poll then. It's neck and neck between Werenski and Konechny. So if you haven't cast a vote yet, you could possibly break the tie. I'll give you about 10 seconds here. Still neck and neck here. All right. I'll be the tiebreaker then. So, yeah, it's tied between Werenski and Konechny. I'll stick with Zach Werenski because he's been talked about a little bit more so far as a possible draft pick. So we'll go with Zach Werenski. And actually, he's the first defenseman off the board, too. All right. So Konechny is going to be probably one of the picks for the Stars. And we've talked about here. I'll put this one up. How about this for the Stars? Stars draft Konechny, Strom, Shabbat, and we'll also put in Besser. Those are kind of the names that we've been throwing around. So I think that that's kind of the easiest way to cut to the chase. So far, I'm a little surprised Kaprizov got selected over Eichel, although he's certainly probably at least as talented. And like Marner at 5th, I mean, that's exceptional value. Aho at 6th for that matter too. Not to mention Hintz in 8th. It really goes to show this was a strong draft class. All right. So Konechny and Shabbat are battling for this pick here for the Dallas Stars. If you haven't cast a vote yet, I'll give you about 15 seconds. You have a USA soccer jersey coming in. Is that so? Did you get the one that the women's team is wearing right now? I don't even know what that looks like. Um, I know what the jersey concepts look like for if the Canadian teams were soccer teams. Like I'm more dialed into that. All right, let's close this out then. So Travis Konechny, you are a Dallas Star. All right, cool. All right, now with the Boston Bruins, they have the next 3 picks, which is nuts. So considering we've thrown around Besser, Shabbat, and Strome, Besser, Shabbat, and Strome. How does that sound, guys? We'll do that. We'll do that. Thomas Shabbat. We'll do here. Let me just remove a couple names here. So yeah, we'll do Dylan Strome and Brock Besser as well. Victoria says yes. All right, cool. All right, so Dylan Strome, Thomas Shabbat, and Brock Besser are off the board. All right, cool, cool. Besser to Boston would be your worst nightmare. Besser, he still hasn't looked like the goal scorer that we saw from his rookie season, though, has he? Has 1 point per game in front of Shabbat. I mean, potato when they have 3 picks in a row. All right. Now I feel this is where tier 3 starts. Yeah, it's kind of getting to that point. All right. So who should the Islanders draft? Let me know in the chat. A wisdom tooth removal. Oh, God. Just get as much rest as you can, Mr. Rails. Eriksson Ek? Yeah, I mean, I'm almost surprised that Eriksson Ek hasn't been selected above a couple of these players. I think he's pretty awesome. Cirelli, yeah, that was a steal for the Lightning in the 3rd round. Vince Dunn. Okay, that's, yeah. So we've got Eriksson Ek, Dunn, Marino, Cirelli. Okay. All right. I think that should be good. All right. So we've got Islanders draft. Troy Terry as well. Eriksson Ek. Vince Dunn. Eriksson Ek. Vince Dunn. Just make sure I have this. Cirelli, Marino, Terry. I'll call an audible here. I'll put John Marino in here to have 2 defensemen. And between Cirelli and Troy Terry, I love Cirelli. I'll put Troy Terry in here just because he's more of a goal scoring threat, but we'll get to him soon enough, I'm sure. And don't forget, everybody, you're welcome to select goaltenders. I just have to have them in a separate tab because, we're talking about goaltending statistics. But yeah, those are your choices. Samsonov, Blackwood, Vamelka's there, Decord. Like, you have a few. I mean, these are the goaltenders who have played in the NHL so far. Vince Dunn's too high to go here. Interesting. I mean, he had a great season. The goalie class was kind of weak. Yeah. The year before was awesome, though, in the sense that you had both Shesterkin and Sorokin. All right, we got 12 votes, and I guess that's probably going to represent just about everybody who's here. But if anybody hasn't cast a vote yet, I'll give you 15 seconds. For an offensive defenseman, he had, he was only averaging about 40 points. But I don't know. I mean, I just think that that's his role on the team now. Because really, I mean, there's nobody else who can kind of drive play from back there nearly as strongly. So I don't know if he's gonna. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to look as good as he did last year, but I think that that's kind of sort of the bar that he could set more or less. All right, let's see here. Let's close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. All right. Joel Eriksson Ek. I like that pick a lot, guys. So we've got Eriksson Ek. All right. Yeah, and Darkness, I had seen Jay Fresh on Twitter basically posting that his minutes were sheltered and like analytically all the signs pointed to him being at least a top 4 defenseman. And so I guess he just finally got, significant ice time when he got to Seattle. Anyway, that's just me kind of just passing the message along. All right, next up we've got the Winnipeg Jets. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Vince Dunn here. Oops. Vince Dunn. We'll also put in here Troy Terry, Anthony Cirelli, since that was suggested earlier, and we'll do put in John Marino. Do I watch NHL Network? I do. I haven't watched it in the off season yet so far. This has to be one of the better draft classes. Yeah, I mean, look at that. You've got a couple of 40 goal scorers going 9th and 10th in the draft. And Hintz is down in 9th. Aho's in 6th, right? Where in a normal draft, he'd probably be 3rd or 4th. So we got the Jets drafting now. And then we have the Senators and Red Wings and Wild. How do I get the NHL Network? Hey, that's a great question. It's very hard to find NHL Network unless you have one of the major cable plans. I have Sling TV, and on Sling, if you get this sports add-on for $10 more, then the NHL Network is part of that. So that's what I have. Favorite Hurricanes jersey? I don't know if one in particular stands out to me. I mean, we'll take the Whalers out of the equation there. I strangely really like the reverse retro from last year, even though it's really not a reverse retro. And the more I saw that 25th anniversary jersey, like the original jersey, the more I started liking that. But I just wish the pants were black for their uniforms. All right. Where are we with this poll here? 12 votes. Oh boy, it's a 3-way tie. Oh my gosh. We need somebody to break the tie. If you haven't voted yet, I'll give you about 20 seconds here. Rantanen at 4th. In a lot of other drafts, he'd go first. Yeah, very possible. 2012, and he could go first, and a lot of the other players could go first. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's easier to say what's my least favorite Hurricanes jersey, and that would be the candy cane. All right. We'll close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Let's go with Anthony Cirelli. I like that a lot, guys. I think that when it comes to playing, back checking and defending, I think Anthony Cirelli is as good as any forward in the NHL, just about. All right, so he's going to the Winnipeg Jets. All right, let's get a response from you in the chat. So who should the Senators draft? So throw some names out there in the chat down below. The best player that my team has ever drafted. Well, I mean, the best player that we've drafted, even though Patrick Marleau has the record for games played now, I would argue that that in terms of career, I would say that maybe Joe Pavelski has been better than Patrick Marleau. I think he should be a Hall of Famer. And Pavelski, of course, being a 7th round draft pick. I still think that Marleau should be a Hall of Famer, though. Don't get me wrong, but like Pavelski, I think that just the way that his career has aged like a fine wine is incredible. He shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. He's got over 1,000 points. He's been part of the Olympic team. You think about when they won a silver medal in 2010. Well, Thornton wasn't a draft pick of the Sharks, so I mean he was with San Jose for a long time, but yeah. All right, so let's go Troy Terry versus Vince Dunn here. Your opinion changes if he wins the cup. Okay, that's fair. I've said that before too. Like I've said literally the same thing, that I would think that a cup would get him in the Hall of Fame. But I think at this point he really does. I mean, as a playoff performer, he's one of the absolute best since the salary cap era. Okay, so so Senators, Vince Dunn or Troy Terry. All right, let me know your thoughts here. But what Aaron Rodgers consulted Pavs on how to switch teams? Really? That's interesting considering he's been like, because Rodgers only up until a few months ago was a Packer. Right on the border. Yeah, man. It sucks that like there isn't there's no like second tier Hall of Fame. Cause then you'd have a place for like Pierre Turgeon or McGillney or something like that. All right. All right, 11 votes. I'll give you about 15 seconds on this one, folks. What goalie has the best mask design? I mean, there are lots of great masks. A lot of people might say, what was his name? Malash, right? Was that the Seals goaltender with the snake on it? My favorite, my personal favorite that stands out to me is Vesatoskala. I think that's one of the coolest masks. Kaprizov didn't deserve to have his number retired. Ooh, I think that's a bit of a hot take. I mean, I know that this is separate from what he did with the Flames, but like among Finnish goaltenders, I mean, you got of course like Rene and Tuukka Rask, and you could say that maybe Kipper is like the third or fourth best goaltender born from Finland. All right, let's close this out. So Vince Dunn is a Ottawa Senator. Good pick. Vince fun. All right, let me make sure I have the board cleared off here. Vince Dunn. Oops. Oh yeah, by the way, we have Cirelli off the board now too. All right, cool. Bobrovsky. All right. Who should the Red Wings draft? I think it's actually whom should they draft, but you know what I mean. The best goalie from this draft, Samsonov. I'd still think that I'd still say Samsonov is probably the best, but that's not like the highest of honors for this draft class. I mean, the way that he started his career, you would think that Mackenzie Blackwood. And yeah, I know that Hill just won the Stanley Cup, but like let's see him actually play a full season, kind of like he did in the playoffs. I don't mind Montembeau, and yeah, Vejmelka, he's pretty good for considering his circumstances. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the chat here, folks. Who should the Red Wings draft? So far, I see Aiden Hill, I see Hanifin, we can definitely consider Troy Terry. Vejmelka's top 10. Woo! You just topped your hot take from Kippersoff. Hannafin. All right. Terry, let's make it between Hannafin and Terry. How about that? By the way, where's Hannafin going to end up? All right. Red Wings draft. ... Hold on one sec, Jay-Z. So we've got Hannafin versus Terry. Make this one nice and simple. Opinions on whether the Matthew Tkachuk trade was the biggest the past decade. Yeah, I mean, like I remember at the time, I thought to myself, I was like, wait, is this the biggest trade we've seen? And it just might be in the past decade. It's, I mean, you think about Weber and Subban, but in this case, you know, I want to say that when Weber was traded, I mean, his lasting impact was very brief, right? Whereas Huberdeau, I know he had a horrible year last year, but like you got to think he's got plenty in the tank to have at least a couple good seasons. Uh, 900 and a 3.50. You think that he could be like 920 on a good team? I mean, I think that yeah, you absolutely have to consider that. And you know, 3.50 goals against average, that's really not like that, even though that looks bad, it's really not like that bad in today's NHL, just given how scoring's gone up so much. Where's Ohtani gonna end up? Oh, dude, I have no idea. I'm too out of touch with the dynamics of baseball transactions like that. But I am intrigued to see what happens there. Please not the Dodgers. Please not the Dodgers. That's all I ask. I don't care if he goes anywhere else. Even if he goes to the Phillies, I do not care. If he goes to the Rays, whatever. Mariners. Yeah, Ohtani on the Mariners would be awesome. I would love to see that. Just given their history with Japanese players. And I mean, like, that's all the Mariners would need to. Well, then again, every team could use Ohtani. It would be a sport-changing trade if it gets traded. I mean, yeah. I mean, have we ever seen a talent like that in our lifetime? Not at all. I wouldn't think. All right, 15 votes. So let's close this out then in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So let's draft Noah Hannafin to the Detroit Red Wings. Sorry, I can't type today. Hannafin. All right, perfect. All right, Minnesota Wild are next. So let me know in the chat, who should the Wild draft next? Vintage Sports Shoe Store has 2 IHL jerseys. Really? Long Beach Ice Dogs. How does that jersey look? I got to pull that up. Long Beach Ice Dogs. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's pretty good. They got the broken chain on the waistline. You know what league had some awesome logos and jerseys was the Roller Hockey International in the 90s. Troy Terry, any dissenting opinions here? Provorov. Anybody else have an opinion on this? All right. Well, I think it's pretty clear then, because we've been talking about Troy Terry for a little while here. So we'll select Troy Terry, who went 148th overall to the Anaheim Ducks. All right. Hannafin's also off the board. All right. That's right. Pennsylvania. Gensylvania. Okay. Next team is going to be the Buffalo Sabres. I'm going to have to get some more opinions from you on this one, though. throw some names out there, everybody, and then we can run a poll. Okay. Their original pick was Colin White. So let's see here. How many of these players are actually on the team that drafted them? So like McDavid's still with his team, Marner, Borensky, and Rontanen. So only 4 of the top 10 players from that draft, as stacked as it was, are actually on the team that drafted them. How about that? Matt Roy. Okay. Matt Roy. We'll put Ivan Provorov on there. So we'll put a couple defensemen, and I'll choose a couple forwards. How about that? Let's say Ivan Provorov, Matt Roy. I'll put. Let's see here. We'll put Pavel Zacha on there. Sure. Actually, yeah, I'll put. Yeah, I'll have Roy and Provorov on there. That's cool. And I'll put on Garland and sure, I'll put Zacha in there too. Yeah, Pavel Zacha. All right. Oh yeah. So you'll have 4 options here, but I know that the chat just said go defenseman. So hey, I don't mind. I don't mind us taking another defenseman off the board. All right. 15 seconds if you haven't cast a vote just yet. All right. This one's pretty clear. We're gonna go with Ivan Provorov. Provorov. Okay. Oops, wait. Ivan. Yeah, I'll fix that. All right. Now we got the Washington Capitals. Their pick was Ilya Samsonov. So let me know in the chat. What other players do you think we consider here for the Washington Capitals? Oh, you're gonna hang out in Vancouver for a few days. Matt Roy. All right. Rasmus Anderson. I do like Rasmus Anderson. All right. Any further opinions on this one here? Matt Roy, Darkness. Okay, we'll do a runoff. How about that? So this is for the Capitals. Rasmus Anderson. And I'll throw in Pavel Zacha, sure. Let's see who else is on the draft board. So you run off of defensemen? Yeah, I kind of see what you mean, right? Because like how many 30 goal scorers are left, right? Or 25 goal scorers. Now Andrew Mangiapane was didn't he have like 40 goals or at least 35 2 years ago? But just like a lot of players on Calgary, he fell off quite a bit this past season. You wanted Bedard to drop to the Coyotes. I mean, really, as we got into the calendar year of 2023, that's when all doubts were cast aside about Bedard, not going first overall. But yeah, we didn't see anybody trade up aggressively, so it's kind of disappointing. Anyway, let's close out this poll here. We've got Matt Roy going to the Washington Capitals. Right on. All right. Let's see here. Vancouver Canucks. Who should draft, or who should the Canucks draft? Give me some names in the chat here, folks. Yeah, Anderson. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to, or fitting to include him here. All right, Riley. Have a great rest of the weekend. Stay cool out there. Zaka versus Anderson. That will be our runoff. How about that? All right, here's the poll for the Vancouver Canucks. We're split so far between Anderson and Zaka. All right, I think we're at a standstill here. So I'm going to break the tie here. I'm going to select Rasmus Anderson. Be an interesting pairing if he was with Quinn Hughes, for example. All right. So now we get to the Philadelphia Flyers after they selected Matthew Barzal. So let me know in the chat, who do you think they should draft? If you want it to be Zaka, I got no complaints about that. Zaka was the 6th overall pick and actually had I believe a career high this past season with the Bruins, right? Zaka last year, it was a career high by quite a bit. 21 goals and 36 assists. Got to be Zaka now. All right, we'll keep the train moving along then. Pavel Zaka. All right, Zaka is off the board. And again, let me know if we should consider a goaltender here because we've got Samsonov still here, Aiden Hill, Blackwood, Vamelka, Veggie. Next up, we got the Winnipeg Jets. They already drafted Anthony Cirelli at 17th. So give me a thought in the chat here. I don't even think we'll need to run a poll anymore. I can probably just go off of the responses that we have here. Actually, we can probably just keep this here. It's fine. And I mean, look at that. I mean, how many of these players were like busts, right? So Strome, Marner, Hanifin, Zaka, Provorov, Werenski, Meyer, Rantanen. You gotta get down to like Jakub Zboril has played NHL games, but not all that many, I don't think. Zachary Senyshyn is like really the only one I can think of who hasn't really had much time in the NHL. Yeah, he only played in a total of 16 games. I mean, but that's how good this class was. You know, you just had a bunch of career NHLers. Any thoughts on the Jets, guys? Let me know in the chat here. Beauvillier, okay. Any other thoughts besides Anthony Beauvillier for anybody? Oh wait, Provorov's off the board. We still have Connor Garland up for grabs. Mangiapane, Jack Roslovic, Brandon Carlo's there. John Marino's still there. This is Beauvillier's spot. Okay. Unless anybody thinks otherwise, we'll assign Beauvillier. Samsonov. A Samsonov Hellebuck tandem could be pretty good. Garland. Anybody else have a thought around this? All right, let's do a runoff. Yeah, I'm surprised that Garland is still up for grabs here, but we'll do a runoff between Ilya Samsonov and Anthony Beauvillier. How about that? We'll go back to the poll for this one. Could fit too perfectly for him to go to the Canadiens. Price and Samsonov. I mean, assuming both are healthy, that could be a strong tandem. Are we split on the votes? If you haven't voted yet, I'll give you 10 seconds. All right. Well, I guess I have to break the tie again. That's cool. I'm choosing Ilya Samsonov though. Gotta have a goalie, you know? All right. So does that mean that Beauvillier goes next, or is there somebody else? Connor Garland is also up for grabs. So we've got next up the Montreal Canadiens. So let me know your thoughts here. Should they go defenseman? Should they go with Beauvillier? Or Garland? So your vote's for Beauvillier. All right. Well, if nobody else has a strong opinion on this, we'll choose Anthony Beauvillier for the Canadiens. And I mean, what Beauvillier was at one point a Canadian, right? Isn't that correct? Or am I just totally blowing smoke? Oh, he's never been a Canadian. Why did I think he was? Huh. So he was always with the Islanders. I don't know who I'm thinking about. Anyway. All right. Then we get to the next. We only have 4 picks left. So who do you want the Ducks to get at 27th? Okay, let me know some players in the chat here. Garle. That's fair. All right. Well, why not? Connor Garland. All right. Then we get to the Islanders. For the Islanders, my pick is going to be. I might have like John Marino as their pick. That would kind of be where I'm going with this. Connor Garland has, or Roslovic's also available. DeBrusque, but I like Marino based on what I saw last year. There's also Jonas Siegenthaler. He's part of this too. If we're talking about Devils defenseman, uh, selected 92nd overall was Will Borgen. He had a really good season for the Kraken last year, so I wouldn't rule him out entirely if we were to do like a 2-round draft. But I think we're going to stick with this. Any other thoughts around the Islanders at 28th or 28th overall? Mangiapane? Okay. Any other opinions? Excuse me. Any other opinions, folks? All right. Well, it's the bread eater. Oh, wait, not Anthony. Andrew. All right. Good pick. And then who do you want the Blue Jackets to get at 29th? Hey, Isaiah. How you doing, man? Hope you're staying cool and that you're not experiencing the effects of any wildfires where you are. So the Jackets had a pick earlier, and they got Rope Hintz. So who do you want them to have in addition to Hintz? DeBrusque probably deserves to go here. It's not a bad pick. Good season that DeBrusque had last year too. I mean, the opportunity certainly helped him. Yeah, hot outside. Yeah, I feel you. We got hit pretty bad the last couple days. All right, Jake DeBrusque. Sure, why not? I want to put his name in there. Jake DeBrusque to the Blue Jackets, and lastly, who goes to the Coyotes at 30th? Yeah, it smells like smoke out here, though. I wonder if there are any fires in our vicinity. I don't think there are, like, in my county necessarily, but a lot of stuff blows over from other counties, like from Oregon and that sort of thing. Wasn't Aiden Hill available? Toria says Nicholas Waugh. Yeah, so Aiden Hill is available. Oh wow, and Jeremy Waugh was actually the next pick by the Sharks. But yeah, we have some Roys and Waugh. So Matt Roy was 194th overall. Oh, we already drafted Mangiapane too. Yeah, Aiden Hill up for grabs. And considering he was, that's kind of the team that he broke in with. Personally, I think Aiden Hill is a good pick here. So let's close it out with Aiden Hill. And that is our first round. So let's just revisit that quickly. So, McDavid, but then when we break things up right away by selecting Kirill Kaprizov, 2nd overall, and then Jack Eichel goes to the Coyotes because next best place besides Buffalo at that time is Arizona. Marner is chosen 5th, so he's not a Leaf, but Mikko Rantanen is a Maple Leaf, which, man, that would have been dynamite to see, obviously. Aho Look at that. Marner and Aho just one spot away from the teams that they're actually on. So the Devils get Aho, which is crazy because then, of course, next year they get Nico Hischier. And then 2 years after that, it's Jack Hughes. Brett Hull was really low in his draft. Yeah, I think you're right. Brett Hull was a pick of the Calgary Flames. That's what I know. Brett Hull was selected 117th overall. How about that? Yeah. I mean, you could argue he was the best goal scorer of that era. Once Gretzky had kind of moved to LA, and he wasn't quite the Gretzky he was in Edmonton, even though he still won MVPs. But like Lemieux, Hull, Yager, and of course anybody who played for the Red Wings and the Avalanche and that sort of thing. Barzell I was surprised to see Barzell over like Hintz, but Hintz did get selected 8th. Meyer stayed with the Sharks, so he's only the second player who stayed with the team that drafted him. Kyle Connor. I mean, God, to have your top 10 round out with Kyle Connor, that is pretty nuts. Like in a good way, right? That just shows you the strength of the class. Werenski was the first defenseman selected here. The Panthers, 2 years after selecting Ekblad first overall, get Werenski. Was that Don Granato who was interviewed? I did not. Actually, I haven't listened to Chicklets in forever. I just see their clips on like Instagram and Twitter. Konechny 11th overall, 31 goal season. And then the Bruins have 3 picks. And this looks a lot better than what they ended up with. Shabbat, easily be a top pairing defenseman. Esser and Dylan Strom, great season last year with the Capitals. Eric Sinek, all the way down in 16th. I mean, again, that really shows the strength of the draft class. Cirelli moves up from the 3rd round to 17th. I got to credit all of you for getting him, in the 1st round, especially this high up. That's awesome. I love seeing that. Dunn in 18th after putting up a lot of points this last year. Hannafin's the biggest drop here, really. Went from 5th to 19th. Zaka, of course, would drop as well. Minnesota with Troy Terry. Sabres with Provorov. And that would, of course, be augmented even further with the likes of Dahlin. Just a couple years after this, Matt Roy to the Capitals. Rasmus Anderson to the Canucks. Zaka to the Flyers. So the Flyers have Barzell and Zaka. Samsonov to back up Connor Hellebuck. So they have Cirelli and Hellebuck. Or Cirelli and Samsonov. Beauvillier, who was drafted actually just almost where he really ended up. Connor Garland in 27th. That's still a pretty darn good pick, I think. And then Tony Granato. No, I didn't. Wasn't Tony Granato the one who he had like, I don't know, it wasn't like a heart condition, but he had something that kind of cut his career short. I remember like I think that was him. And he won the Masterton Trophy. I know that's what happened because he was like barely able to play. It was kind of like a roll of the dice if he could get back on the ice. And I know he was with the Sharks when he kind of was able to overcome that. So Tony Granato played with Brett Hull over the fence of the outdoor rink. They were hitting trains going by. I guess when you get bored of shooting at a goaltender or just an empty net, that's what happens. All right. Well, anyway, that's where I'm going to end things for this stream. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us here, and stick around. I've been uploading. I uploaded a couple of videos this week, so you can check those out if you haven't already. Talking about breakout players, like centers to look out for that you might not hear all that much about. I'm probably going to make a video like that for wingers and maybe for defensemen as well. And thanks again for being a part of this. And I'll be back again soon with more content, maybe another stream if we can find something else that interests our community here. So thank you. You guys have a great rest of the weekend. Stay cool out there. And if you have a pet at home, give him or her a big hug for me. All right. Have a good one.